Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Maddie if you're new. I make videos to help you be a better designer, but mostly just in the fun, kind of chill, relaxing way of practicing design together. So that's exactly what we're gonna do today. I actually posted on like my YouTube community page, I guess, asking for you guys, my subscribers, to send me some designs that you're working on in Figma. We're going to be tackling one of your designs together. This first one comes from Cindy Shen. She is a great designer. You can see some of her work here on Dribble. And yeah, I think that we're really just going to go through this project of hers and tackle a few different things, from organization to visual design and some UX. So let's get right into it. So here we have Cindy's whole file. She has lots and lots of screens for this app she's designing that looks like kind of a travel planning app. It seems like you can kind of build an itinerary. It is a web-based app. So there's tons of screens here, tons of components, as you can see. For the purpose of this video, I'm obviously not gonna have time to kind of go through the entire product, but I did pull out this screen here that I wanna tackle. So this is the screen where you've already chosen like a destination that you're going to be traveling to. In this case, it's Singapore. And you're kind of trying to plan out what restaurants that you're going to go to and things like that. So I'm thinking of this honestly a lot like a Yelp, page where you're trying to find the best restaurants in an area. And so yeah, that's kind of what you can compare this to. Of course, it is then within a bigger kind of travel app. So you can see this is just one heading, food. But yeah, I think these are all supposed to be restaurants, and this is kind of the list view of restaurants. And over here and here are the filters by which you're kind of viewing these recommended restaurants. So that's a little bit of background. Before we really get started into the design, I want to show you guys a couple things we can do to organize this better so that editing the design and tweaking it is even easier. And the first of those things is using auto layout. So auto layout is one of my favorite things in Figma. It took me kind of a while to get the hang of it, but now it comes second nature to me, and I do it literally for almost every single portion of my screens. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll start with this component here, or this kind of string of components. So because auto layout is not turned on, if I wanted to just decrease the spacing between these, I would have to do that manually. But if we turn on auto layout, oh, okay, I just found another issue. These are also not grouped together. So what we want to do is create a component for these filters. So I'm going to do Command Option K. Yes, Command Option K. And so here we have this component, and I'm gonna name it filter. And then I'm actually going to bring it over here. I like to have my main components like off to the side. And then I am going to add a property, add a variant state. So that's the default state, and this will be the selected state. And so we can just copy over what Cindy already has here. She's using semi-bold, and she's using a background color yellow. So now here we have these filters. So we can actually turn auto layout on at this stage. So I've just selected on the component. I'm gonna hit auto layout, 20, just making those even. Yeah, okay. So now if this changes, then you can see it still just kind of hugs the contents. Cool, so here are our main components, and now I'm gonna drag this off to the side and kind of recreate this here. So we'll use vegan. So as I'm thinking about this, I feel like these are supposed to be types of restaurants and not necessarily types of food, right? Because this is, yeah, these are like supposed to be different restaurants, but they definitely do look like different menu items, which is a little bit confusing, but I'm gonna go off the assumption that they're supposed to be restaurants. So we'll say vegan, we'll just like make up a few categories. Okay, now we have a bunch here. We're going to make one of them the selected state, and then I'm going to select all of these and control click frame selection. So when we frame the selection, then we can actually turn on auto layout. And as you can see, as soon as I turned it on, it kind of automatically put an even amount of space between each of the elements. So that's good, but it seems like kind of a lot of space. So let's just do 15 pixels. And I feel like that should be good. And then there we go. Then in the name of organization, I'm gonna name these filters, or like, let's see, category filters. It's like the category of restaurant type thing. Okay, so that is one thing. And then we kind of need to do the same for these. So actually, we're gonna make this the main component by detaching the instance, making it a component again. We'll bring it up here and we'll name this restaurant. One other tip that I have is instead of making an image in a rectangle, using the frame to actually house the image. So I'm going to get rid of that for just a second. And I'm going to, just for the sake of ease, screenshot this so that we have it. And then I'm gonna actually take this whole frame here and give it a background image. There we go. Now I can completely get rid of that. And let's see. She has this at 248 by 267. I think to keep it simple, I'm going to make it 250 by 250. I'm taking all these elements and putting them in a separate frame for now, where we are also going to turn on auto layout. So first we need to kind of get these together. So as you can see, this is kind of what we're trying to copy, but using auto layout and making it a component so that no matter what you type in here, it's going to work. So these elements that go at the top, we need to kind of drag them to the top, and then I'm going to frame them together, turn on auto layout, and turn on the horizontal layout button here. And then we want them to align center like this, and we want them not to be packed, but to actually have an automatic amount of space in between them and fill the container based on that automatic space. So now I'm realizing that we have a lot of padding going on, so we don't need all that. I think we probably need 20 pixels of padding on each side, maybe even less. Let's do 15. That should be pretty good. And then I'm gonna do the same here. We're going to frame those together, turn on auto layout, and we'll say maybe 5 pixels in between those. And those we want to pin to the bottom corner here. So now if I actually increase the size, we see that these 2 elements also need to have the space between element so that within their kind of parent frame, there's an automatic space between them. And then we'll go like this so that it's on that side there. And then the last step that we're going to do is applying this gradient. So I'm actually going to apply it to this whole frame instead. So I'm selecting on the frame, I'm adding a fill, and then I'm going in linear, and we're just going to copy this exact gradient. Okay, that's pretty good. We can make it darker or lighter depending on what we need. One more thing, I want to hop into this component here and add auto layout to that as well. So I think I want to give it a little more padding on the top and bottom and a little less on the left and right, and a little less in the middle as well. And that looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to drag this into the component, center it in there, and there we go. Now all we need to do is give it that same radius of 12. Okay, now we have this component ready to go. Going to get rid of those, and I'm just going to create a big grid of all of those things, and we'll go back and actually kind of customize this to be different restaurants in a bit. So we'll frame this together and name it restaurant grid. And now we can really easily change the space between, the lines and also the columns. So I'm gonna say that we want 20 pixels between each for now. Actually, that looks very tight. Let's do 40. Okay, so as we mess with the layout, we'll figure out exactly where this should go and exactly what it should look like. Okay, now that we've tackled a lot of kind of the organization stuff, and I showed you guys how I personally use auto layout and components for, scenarios like this, I want to tackle a couple of the UX things that I noticed. I made a couple notes before this video, so I'm just kind of gonna go through them and we'll tackle them one by one and then get into the UI and the colors and all of that stuff. So this is already making me rethink this component a little bit. So I'm actually wondering if instead of having like tons of, restaurants in a grid like this, should we just have like a scrolling page where you can see 1 by 1 or maybe 2 by 2? Let's look at what Yelp does. Okay, let's say we're looking for Japanese food in Denver. Okay, so it has the sponsored options. Oh no, it has featured takeout options, and then it has just like a single, what am I trying to say? Like a single column, which I definitely do like. I'm going to screenshot this and we're going to kind of use this as inspiration to redo this component. So I'm just going to, let's figure out first how long this needs to be. Well, we don't know for sure yet, but it's definitely gonna be at least like I don't know, maybe like half of the page. So let's just call it like 800 pixels wide. Okay, cool. So let's go with that. Now, what I'm thinking is, I still don't mind the placement of those. I just realized I'm not sure what this is. TWD 110. Huh. Cindy, if you're watching this, let us know in the comments what this is, but I will keep it there because I'm gonna assume it has, you know, a purpose. So the other thing that I want to do is within this component, I want to add like how many reviews there have been, because if it gets 5 stars but there's only been like 2 reviews, then that's very different than if it gets 5 stars and it's had like a bunch of reviews. So anyway, I'm just going to do that really fast. I think the best way to do that would probably be this, but make it very small. And maybe we can make it like a lighter color. Wait, why isn't that working? There we go. Maybe we don't even need that line. Views. I don't love that. What if it's just the number? That's fine, I guess. I feel like it could be even smaller. I don't know. Okay, I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to completely redo this component. Ha! Don't kill me. So, frame, I want it to be 800 pixels for now. Restaurant, new. Okay, so then we need a frame within a frame to house the image. And I feel like it could be cool if it was like full height, a full height image. So we do probably want it to be square. So 250 by 250. Okay. We're adding a fill, but it's gonna be an image. And as placeholder, we'll use this image here. Okay, cool. So then we're going to need a whole other frame here that's gonna house all of the like text content and image content. So we'll call it, this is the restaurant name. And this should be probably like the biggest text on this component. Okay, oops. And then we need whatever that is. Cool. And then let's grab this for there. Except the background could probably be like that color, and then this could be white, and we can get rid of the shadow, I think, wherever that shadow is. Oh, yes, maybe. Okay. That should be fine. And then we need this guy. So we don't need like the background thing anymore. Get rid of that. And we can get rid of any of that padding. And then I think we do need to do kind of like this whole thing. So 5 stars. And why isn't this component staying inside there? Yeah, okay, there it goes. Okay. Then, oh yeah, we need text here that says out of however many reviews. So we'll make that the regular. And okay, and then going back to Cindy's designs, she has kind of like a restaurant description. So I think that whoa, that's large. We could put that here as a little bit of like a preview. Okay, and then I think we need a button that's like add to itinerary. Detach. So we'll make the buttons kind of a similar style, but a little different. Okay. Button. Make that a component. And then add to itinerary. Okay, cool. Or maybe this should be off to the side. Yeah, kind of like that. Because then the actions are over here. Okay. Not bad. So now let's apply auto layout to this. Let's get rid of all of this confusing stuff. Okay. So auto layout. Okay. And what we want to do is frame these together, turn on auto layout, space between, fill container, then we just need to switch them. Okay, this whole thing needs to fill the container, but we can't do that until we turn on auto layout on this whole thing. Fill container. Now it should. Perfect. Okay, so that's looking good. And then I feel like this should be like that. And then we want to frame these together so that we can control how much space is between them. We want to frame these together. Auto layout, horizontal, switch, oops, switch, and then we need more space just between there. Like, is 10 too much? Yeah, maybe that's too much. 5. Okay, and then overall we need more space between these guys. So let's see what 20 looks like. Now, to get this to go on the side, what we need to do is actually frame it in itself, turn on auto layout, go like that, and then do space between. And then if we do fill container, then it'll kind of add that extra space on the left side to push that to the right. Okay, so this is looking good. Let's see what it looks like if we, oh, so close. This, oh, weird. Auto layout is off. There we go. Okay, so this also should fill the container. Okay. The reason we want this to fill the container is because we want it to kind of respond to this. So however high this is, this will always be the same width, but the height is going to change. So let's say I got rid of that. See how the height changed? That is why that works. Okay, so now we'll make that our new restaurant component. I'm getting rid of all of this and we're going to bring this down here. So now we have these, and now let's take a look at what we want to do for the filters. So like I said, I did some research before this and I was looking at Yelp and what was the other one? TripAdvisor, and these are the filter kind of sections respectively. So I feel like it's a bit confusing to have filters here and here. I feel like they all need to be either on the side or on the top. And I think it clearly works really well on the side. That's what these other, really big sites are doing. So I think what we want to do is create something like this that makes sense for this web page. So I think let's just type out what we want to have. So I'll take this kind of big so we can see it. We definitely want to have categories. We want to have price. We want to have destination or like city or sub-city or whatever these things are to Singapore. We want to have reviews maybe, or actually I saw this, which is cool, where instead of filtering by like reviews and ratings, you can sort by those, because a site like this should automatically show you like what's recommended. They shouldn't show you like the worst, restaurants first. They should show you the best restaurants first. But these are ways of like seeing that more specifically. Recommended, like probably based on your searching patterns, highest rated, most viewed. So that's like sorting based on the order, or that affects the order in which these results are going to appear. So I think that's good, and we'll kind of add that as a sort and not on this filter page or filter section. So categories, price, city, and yeah, I think that should actually be it. So now we'll kind of use this general layout as opposed to this one, just because I think this is just more common and more user-friendly. This, while it's cool and interesting, I think it's just not what folks are used to, at least on the sites I've used. That maybe just is kind of a bias that I have, but I'm more used to seeing filtering mechanisms like this. So let's just quickly design something like that for categories, price, and city. So we have this. It's looking okay. There's definitely some things we can do to make it better, but I think first, oh, we can actually completely get rid of that now. So that said, first I want to figure out kind of the header situation here, because that will determine how these elements get organized. So let's see. I'm trying to think about how I would use this app, and I feel like I'd be planning one trip at a time, right? So I would want to see like what trip I'm currently working on. You know, maybe this is like my Singapore trip that I'm working on. So I wonder if like we could actually get rid of this. So the other thing is I can't see this text very well on there, and it can be tricky because this image is going to change depending on the city. Where is that image pulling from? You know, from a dev perspective, that definitely gets a little bit trickier. So to keep it really simple, I wonder if we get rid of that. Best time, May to September. I'm already going there, so I probably don't need to know that. That's definitely something like elsewhere in her app she probably has that's a bit more important, of like the best times of the year to travel to certain places. But if I'm looking at restaurants for Singapore, I'm definitely already planning on going to Singapore, and I probably already know when I'm going, if that makes sense. So what if we call this my trip to Singapore? Oh, that really is kind of... Okay. Extra bold, medium. So my trip to Singapore. This definitely doesn't need to be that big. Let's make it 24. Okay. And then I was thinking, like, this kind of tells you what trip you're planning. Maybe this could be a cuter type of thing. So let's use this. Detach. My trip to Singapore. We can still probably make that smaller. Maybe make this white. And we could put like a cute little icon. Does she have any icons, like pin icons? I feel like she does. Upcoming trip. Maybe actually that's a better icon for like a trip you're planning. I don't know. Let's see. Make that smaller. Okay, my trip to Singapore. Okay, there we go. I think that could work actually. So, if you clicked on this, you would be taken back to like your whole trip itinerary. And then I feel like we could have these up here. So, food, hotel, ticket, plan. I'm not totally sure what ticket is. Oh, let's call this flights. I feel like that could be a little bit more clear. And I also don't know what plan is. Like activities maybe? Food, hotel, activities. I feel like that makes more sense. And also you would probably, like, let's order these in the order that you would likely do them. Of course, you don't have to do them in this order, but I feel like that could help. Maybe I'm not in love with the color, oops, the background color on this. What do we think? Also, where does this go? Maybe it would go back to here, so maybe we actually don't need that anymore. We'll go with that. Okay, and now how do you know what you're on? So let's really center those. And then could this be the selected state? Oops. I think that could be good. What do we think about this? Let me know in the comments. I am curious if you think this is a good solution. Oh yeah, these are way too far apart. I kind of like where that's going. So then we can maybe take this, categories over here, and this definitely needs like a full-on header. So let's add that. Filter. We have these guys. So let's give it a good like 80 pixels and a good 40 between each one. Could we do like multiple rows? What do we think? That's not bad. Yeah, I feel like that could be okay. Okay, so now I'm thinking, wait, where did my main component for this go? Oh, it's right here. Okay, I'm thinking we need a little bit of a shadow on these guys. When I do my shadows, I keep it really subtle. If you guys have been watching my channel, you're like, yeah, I know, you say that every time. But I do. Keep them very subtle. Okay. Like, that looks nice. Oh, except where did our heart go? That's not cool. Now I feel like we need sort of like a title here. We also wanted to do this sort thing there, or maybe we could do recommended restaurants and then like in a different style we do Singapore. I think I don't like how similar the dark blue is to like the black. That looks on brand, right? And then I feel like we need a bit of a different text style, like everything's starting to blend in. So what if we did something really tracked out? Yeah, sort. And I think by default it should be by highest rated. Okay, I think that's looking really good. I kind of want more top padding here. Is that weird? Okay, now just some super tiny fixes. I want to make this a little smaller just so that it kind of fits nicely here. Then I feel like this needs to be the same, yeah. Spread those out evenly. Line them up. Okay, this is what we've got. Alright guys, I think this turned out really good. Thank you so much to Cindy for sending in her designs. They were an awesome starting point and they honestly look really good. I just wanted to show you guys how I would approach this project a little bit differently, and I hope that you enjoyed following along. If you did, then you'll definitely like a lot of my other Design With Me videos, which I will leave linked in the description box below. I also have 2 Figma specific specific courses over on Skillshare. One specifically about organizing your files in Figma, and the other about getting the most out of components. So if you want to dive deeper into either of those topics, I will leave those courses linked below, and I will see you guys in a future video. Bye!